Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, finally back again with the toy room to do the long overdue room tour. Now, I've done a bunch of videos leading up to this series, organizing the room, moving things around, changing displays behind me, and today we're finally going to go through every single thing in this room. And yes, my hairstyle is different. I did get my hair braided today, so we'll just get that out of the way right now. But yeah, we're gonna go through every single thing, like every nook and cranny. This is gonna be the most detailed version, the most detailed tour, the most detailed version of the tours that we've ever done, if that makes any sense. I don't know how long this video is gonna end up being. I have a feeling it's gonna be like 45 minutes. That's just my guess, who knows? But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the room tour. And this is going to be for May. I'm filming this on May 1st. When it gets uploaded, I don't know, probably May 2nd or May 3rd. But this is going to be the toy room tour for May 2022. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, you guys, so we're gonna start right here in this corner. I'm going to have this light, this external light here, just to help because the lighting kind of sucks on this side of the room. But we're gonna start right here on this corner. So this is obviously the front door. This is right where you walk in, and we're just gonna go through everything really quickly. So I have this Spider-Man little like wood canvas type of thing that I forgot even where I got, but I got it for like a couple dollars. I got my brand new Avatar The Last Airbender calendar right here, so this is pretty cool. And I actually need to change this since we're in May. Actually, today's the first day of May, so we got this really awesome picture of Toph right here. I'll change that after the video. Then right above the door, I have my Link's Awakening little poster, and I just have it above the door because I feel like, you know, you're going, when you leave this room, you're going out into the world, going out on an adventure, so why not have a Legend of Zelda poster right above the door. To the right of that, we have my Toys R Us. This is the only Toys R Us in existence. I did a whole vlog of the store and a tour of the store. I just got a shopping bag that I got from that trip and put it there on the wall, along with this Kingdom Hearts poster that you guys have seen a bunch of times. It's this really cool like fabric poster. It's not like an actual poster, but it's like actual fabric. And then we'll move along this way. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go through the entire top row, and then we'll go through the bottom because I always forget the top. So starting right over here, fittingly right above my Back to the Future display, we have my Lego DeLorean. Now this is brand new. I'll bring the light up here just to give you guys a little bit of a better view, but you can see the Lego DeLorean right there. And then beside that, I have the Playmobil version of the DeLorean as well. And then right behind that, I have the hoverboard. So you can see that. And then coming next to that, we have my Fast and the Furious collection right here. So this is all Jada Toys 132 scale. I believe it's 132. If it's not 132, it's 124 scale, but all of my die-cast Fast and the Furious vehicles right there. And I'm actually going to bring the light. There we go. And then behind that, we also have my random X-Men Marvel Legends 5-pack. This random Hobgoblin that I found at the thrift store, Marvel Legends Thanos. This giant Ninja Turtles wearing a Build-A-Bear Miami Heat jersey. Acid Storm, this T-Rex from the set that comes with the Ford Explorer, but he didn't fit on my Jurassic Park shelf, so I had to throw him up here. And that's pretty much what this top shelf is. Like, it's just a little bit of everything. It's a lot of random stuff. Like, obviously, you have my Fast and the Furious cars, but then you just also have just other random figures that are big and didn't fit in anywhere else, and I just kind of put them right there. And we have this Darth Vader Pez dispenser, giant Pez dispenser, and the Party Wagon from Ninja Turtles, the standard version. I have this Funko Pop t-shirt version, and I have the Funko like paper version. And then also next to that, I have my Super Smash Brothers poster. Now this isn't the most updated version. So many more characters have been released since this version came out. I don't know how many characters are actually missing from here. I want to say maybe like 5 to 8 characters might be missing from that poster, but it is a majority of them. And coming over here, we have some Black Series vehicles. You can see all of those right there. And then I moved all of the Megazords over this way, which we'll go over that once I make my way over this way. So let's go ahead and run back this way. I just wanted to start with the top because every room tour I usually always forget to mention what's up there. So now we're gonna work our way back over this way to my Back to the Future display. So as you can see right here, this is all pretty much primarily the NECA figures that I have on display over here. But really nice stuff all throughout here. A little dusty, but the shelf's actually not too bad. Then I also obviously have these Funko Pop versions as well as the Playmobil versions. But I really love these NECA figures, man. They are just absolutely incredible. And then I have my Tales from Space comic on display in front of one of the Funko Back to the Future board games. And then back there, you can see I actually have to zoom in, so let me put the light down and go ahead and zoom in for you guys. But I have a licensed replica of Marty's driver's license, as well as a cup from Universal Studios that has the Back to the Future ride on there. Then I have little other Easter eggs hidden throughout here, so you can see this Back to the Future chocolate bar that I got from Universal Studios in the background over there, as well as this Mr. Fusion charger. It's actually just like a USB charger. And back here, the picture actually kind of fell over, so I have to pick it up. You can see that iconic picture from the movie, and that's on I gotta bring the light in for this one. That's on a Back to the Future glass. It's kind of hard to make out. You can kind of see it right there from Universal Studios. Kind of hard to make out. But anyways, that is it for that shelf. So now we're going to go ahead and just zoom out and move over to the next shelf. So this shelf is primarily my DeLorean / vehicle shelf. But you can see it's just mainly all DeLoreans. Of course, you do have Marty's pickup truck right here. As we take a look. Yeah, so you have the pickup truck and then just a ton of different DeLoreans. So right up front here, we have the Hot Wheel DeLoreans, as well as the minifigures from that Lego set that we just took a look at earlier, right over there. And we have these Hollywood Nano rides from Jada Toys. And then how could I forget to turn this on? Let me do that really quickly because this thing's really awesome if you haven't seen that. Okay, so there we are. That is much better. So you have this little miniature TV that actually plays scenes from the Back to the Future movie. And this thing is just so cool. Obviously, it's just a little novelty piece, but just to have on the shelf as a display piece and turn it on and show people when they come over, it is just really cool. And I obviously did get a Jurassic Park one as well, which we'll take a look at in a second. But yeah, this thing is awesome. The speakers on here, the quality is trash, but I mean, that's to be expected. Anyways, moving on, we just have a bunch of different DeLoreans on display here, looking really cool. I love this one that has this little flight stand for the Back to the Future 2 version of the DeLorean that makes it look like it's flying. And like we mentioned earlier, we have that pickup from Playmobil, and we have the Playmobil poster as well. And we have the time circuits that I picked up at Universal Studios, as well as the Transformers Gigawatt. And then my Ready Player One figures, just because they fit in with Back to the Future, so I threw them in here. And then we have that exclusive Doc Brown van back there from, I think it was an Amazon exclusive. And then you have the Back to the Future 3 version of the DeLorean, as well as Einstein, and then the Back to the Future Dice Through Time board game. And that is it for this shelf. And then from there, we're going to transition into the Jurassic Park shelf. Now, I am very happy with the way this shelf came out. Before, it was kind of a cluttered mess, but now it actually looks really nice. So we'll start with the big box right here in the background. That's obviously my Jurassic Park shoes. It is the Reebok Instapump Fury that is meant to recreate the look of obviously the Ford Explorer, but it also recreates the look of the old school Kenner toys, as you can see right there. Those are just absolutely amazing. I've done a review on the shoes as well as pretty much everything on the shelf. But then anyways, moving over here, we have some Matchbox and Hollywood Nano rides of the Ford Explorer, as well as the Jeeps. And then you have obviously the bigger versions as well. And then the little dinosaur right here. And then I did mention that we have this TV over here, and it looks like it did time out, so I'm actually going to turn it back on. There we go. So you have this TV, which is similar to this one, but obviously a different time era. Like this movie is like, what is it, 90s that this came out, so the TV represents that era, whereas this one represents the 80s. But yeah, obviously recreating or replaying some of the Jurassic Park scenes right there. And then I just have my Jurassic Park audio soundtrack CD and the VHS, as well as it's very hard to see, but I have a Hot Wheels back there. Hot Wheels ID, I think those are called, of the Jurassic Park Jeep. And then that's it for that shelf. And then we're going to transition down here. This is basically what I just call like my 80s shelf. So it's a mix of a whole bunch of stuff. So we have Lego Ghostbusters, as well as Slimer and the Ecto 1 diecast, and then primarily all of my NECA Rocky figures, which are still some of my favorite figures in my collection. The detail on these guys is absolutely amazing. But yeah, just primarily all Rocky figures. I do have the Ghostbusters hidden back there, as well as a bunch of VHSs that I just use as a background. So you can see Ghostbusters, Die Hard, Indiana Jones, and Rocky. And then of course, I have Rambo, as well as RoboCop over there. So pretty much all iconic 80s movies all thrown in right over there. And coming down here, this shelf is actually very, very special to me. This is my Target and Toys R Us shelf. Now, the reason that I made this shelf was because Toys R Us was my first job ever, and Target is currently where I work, and I love both, especially, you know, toy hunting and shopping for toys. So that's why I made this little homage to them right here. So you can see I obviously have like Funko Pops, as well as just other random memorabilia. This is actually a t-shirt right over here, and then this is a Target like plush with a snowboard attached to it. It's like hard plastic that one of my friends found for me at the thrift store. And then we have this Jeffrey the Giraffe pop, as well as this little diecast truck right here from Toys R Us, and all these little pins that my dad gave me from back in the day when he used to work at Toys R Us. So these are vintage, probably worth a lot of money now. And we have this little tin over here, and then I have my old Toys R Us credit card, which I'm sure the number's not active, but I am going to block out that number so you guys can't see it just in case. And then I have this Jeffrey the Giraffe plush that I picked up when I went to the store in New Jersey a few months back. As we come down over here, I'm actually going to angle that and bring the light in. This is just my NECA shelf over here. So it's just a bunch of other random NECA figures that I threw in here that didn't fit anywhere else. So we have like all of the Gremlins series that I own, at least over here, as well as Joker, Kick-Ass, Planet of the Apes, Terminator. So just random stuff all on this shelf. No rhyme or reason to it, but they all just fit there, and I needed to fill up that shelf, so that's what I did. So now we're gonna go ahead and move back on up over this way. All right, so moving back over here, this is honestly probably my favorite shelf in the whole room. I always go back and forth on which shelf is my favorite, but I just love seeing all these Avatar pops, and Avatar is my favorite show of all time, and they've been getting so much love lately between Funko, Diamond Select, McFarlane. There's so many companies making Avatar toys, as we'll see here in a second. But man, I really love this Funko shelf, just the way they're all displayed and the different tiers that I created. I'm just a really big fan of this shelf, man, and I can't wait to see hopefully more Funko Pops being made for Avatar, primarily villains, because I definitely need more villains. You can see we got a ton of heroes, and obviously Legend of Korra that I threw in there as well, but yeah, not a ton of villains compared to the heroes, so I definitely would like to see more. Just even obscure characters, really, I'm here for it. I really hope that they go more in depth with this line. But anyways, we have this shelf over here. And we have this one down here, again, like I mentioned, with all of basically the Fire Nation all right here. Then I have just little things in the background. So this poster right here is actually new. It came with the calendar that I got, so I just kind of threw it here as just a little background, because the shelf admittedly is a little plain looking without it. And then I have my Appa cereal, which unfortunately doesn't fit up here anymore. It would go perfect in the background, but it just doesn't fit, so I put it there. And then I have my Legend of Korra, as well as my Avatar Last Airbender special edition steelbooks back there, just again to add a little bit of a backdrop to an otherwise pretty bland shelf. But there you go, so you have all of the Fire Nation Funko Pops right down there. And as we move down here, I actually have a ton of figures to add to this shelf. I don't know if you guys saw my video the other day where I talked about most of my recent pickups that are actually here in the closet, but I do have these new figures here. There's like 4 of them that I have that I just wasn't gonna have enough time to open, review, and properly pose and get on display on the shelf in the time that I wanted to do the room tour. So unfortunately, they are missing from the shelf right now, but they will be there eventually. So let me just go ahead and get down here. So we can see this is pretty much all of the existing or current action figures for Avatar: The Last Airbender. So you have a mix of McFarlane, Diamond Select, I think that's it, and obviously the Loyal Subjects versions over here with the Cosmic Energy Aang, as well as this version of Aang right here. But man, just some really good figures, especially McFarlane. Like, unfortunately, they don't have quite the articulation and like posability that some of the other figures have, but just the detail in these McFarlane figures are crazy, with especially given the size of the figures, but just all the texture in them, man. Just a really big fan of that. But you can see all the different Avatar figures that I have over here. Just really good stuff, man. I'm a really big fan of that, and like I said, I'm so glad that Avatar is finally getting the love that it deserves as far as like action figures, because it's been such a long time coming. And then moving on from Avatar, oh wait, I forgot to mention, I also have the world's smallest Avatar action figure with the mini brands version of Aang right there. So that is really cool. I definitely had to pick that up. Anyways, moving down here, and we'll bring the light with me as well, we have my brand new Stormtrooper shelf. So this is basically every Stormtrooper from the Black Series, every clone trooper that I own, and I own a majority of them, at least up until just a couple years ago when I stopped collecting them. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of this. And then I just have my Star Wars tech deck set over there, as well as the droids on the top. But yeah, this is my favorite Black Series shelf, hands down. There's just something about seeing all the different variations of the clone troopers and stormtroopers, and just all the little like intricacies all between all of them. I'm never really an army builder per se, because I only have one of each of these stormtroopers, but I love all the different variations. Now, I would never just like go out and buy like 100 of the same stormtrooper or clone trooper, but I love, like I said, seeing just all the different versions all on one shelf together. I think that is just really, really cool. So moving on from those guys, we're going to come down here to my heroes and villains shelf. Now that is these two bottom shelves right over here. So we're just going to adjust the camera and bring the light with us. So there we go, we get a little bit of a better view. So what I did was I put the more important figures right here on this shelf, and the lesser, not necessarily the lesser known, but just the least important figures I put down here. So I have, obviously on this side, we have all of the villains, as you can see. And then we have the heroes on this half. So again, just a mixture of stuff, no really specific like organization to it or anything like that. I just kind of mixed them all up in here, as you can see. And then that nice background back there, the Millennium Falcon. And then I did the exact same thing on this shelf. I just put like the lesser popular figures down here, I guess you can say. So, and I'm just gonna kind of move the light, because we are getting just a little bit of too much exposure going on. But then you do need the light to see the background. So it's, you know, it is what it is. We'll kind of bring the light in here. And some Star Wars VHSs just as a little backdrop to add in there. So I really, really do like those shelves. Now let's go ahead and go over this way. All right, and here we are at my movie Ninja Turtles shelf. So, man, we need more characters desperately from the movie line, because there's just not a ton of them over here. But the ones that we do have are amazing. Obviously, you do have the Turtles, as well as Danny and April, which are recently acquired. And of course, Razor and Tokar over there. But just, yeah, not a ton of figures. I would like to see some more. There's definitely a ton of characters that they could do. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see a bunch more down the line. But for now, that's pretty much it. There's not too much going on to that shelf, unfortunately. But a shelf that does have a lot going on with it is the cartoon series. So, yeah, there's so many figures that NECA has made for these guys, and it's absolutely crazy the amount of figures that they have and that they haven't released yet that are on the way. But you can see all these guys right here. So, and also my bootleg NECA comic book turtles as well. Those are the only bootlegs in my collection. Everything else is legit. But this was primarily a hero shelf until I ran out of space on my villain shelf and had to move some of them over this way. So it's mostly all heroes, but we do have some villains on here, as you guys can see. But man, yeah, these guys are all amazing. NECA doing amazing work as always. And coming down over here to my villain shelf, just so much color on these shelves. I really do like it. Just the different variation, like you look at everything over here, it's pretty much like kind of bland, and then you come over here, it's just like that splash of color from the NECA cartoon turtles is just amazing. Just so much different variation in the figure sizes and everything like that. It's just really, really cool. NECA, again, amazing job as always. And I have a lot of NECA figures in my collection. I just realized I have all those Back to the Future figures, then obviously all of the turtles, and then that whole shelf down there. So a big fan of NECA over here, if you guys couldn't tell already. But moving on from that shelf, we're going to go down here to my World of Nintendo shelf. I got two of them. So this one up here is the Mario shelf, and this one over here is all the other characters. I basically call it my Super Smash Bros. Shelf. But coming over here to the Mario shelf, really nothing has changed. I just moved the actual like location of the shelf, but nothing's been added to it. All of the characters and figures, they're all exactly the same as they've always been. I don't know if I had that water bottle. Yeah, I had that water bottle there on the last tour. So yeah, honestly, nothing has changed whatsoever. I just moved the location. I think that shelf used to be over here somewhere till I moved the Star Wars around. I don't know, something like that. But shelf is exactly the same, and we move down here, and we'll just bring the camera and the light over this way. So yeah, I added this poster to the back of this shelf, but everything else is exactly the same. The reason I have Skull Kid laying down over there is because he does not stand up, so that's the only place that I could display him.
But yeah, everything is exactly the same over here. But if you guys are new to the channel, there you go. That's my World of Nintendo shelf with my Kingdom Hearts characters, since they are canon now to Super Smash Brothers. And then moving down here, this is actually a completely brand new shelf. So I just have to get low because this is so down here on the floor. But this was just a random assortment of figures, like mostly minifigures that I had. And I noticed I had a ton of like just 90s, or not 90s, but like early 2000s cartoons figures, so, or even some 90s, just a mix of stuff. So I added them all on here. You can see SpongeBob, Rugrats, Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, Ren and Stimpy, Teen Titans, and then Dragon Ball Z, South Park, just a whole bunch of random stuff, and I'll bring the light. So there's no like theme to the shelf other than like cartoon characters, but it's all just a random assortment of stuff. But it worked out because I did need to fill the shelf up, and this was the perfect thing to put here. And the colors and everything really works with the Nintendo shelves as well as the Turtle shelves, so I like that consistency there, just all that splash of color. So now we're going to move on from there and go over to the Power Ranger shelf. Alright, then moving over here to the Power Ranger shelf. So this is my mainly season 1 version of the Power Rangers. I say that because, you know, you have all the Green Ranger stuff in here, and that's primarily it. Now I know I do have a White Ranger in this display, and that's because these are all of my SH Figuarts version of the Power Rangers. And unfortunately I never picked up the Green Ranger, and I only had the White Ranger. And I didn't want to put the White Ranger down here, so because I didn't want to split the SH Figuarts figures up, so I just kept them on this shelf. Maybe one day I'll track that version of the Green Ranger down, but for now the White Ranger is in its place. But other than that, everything else is pretty much the same over here. Nothing has changed, but I really like that shelf. Now coming down to this shelf, actually a lot has changed on this shelf. So I took out the Megazord that used to be here and I put it over here, and I finally started getting some of the Ninjetti figures in. So you can see Kimberly and Tommy over there. So we got those guys in. I have the others pre-ordered, they just haven't come in yet. But I also just moved some things around, put the I cannot remember the name of the pigeons from the movie, but I put them over there. You can kind of see the ooze a little bit better, that jar of ooze that I have over there. And yeah, I just basically made space for the Ninjetti Rangers because they are all coming, as you can see. Like I said, we got some of them in already. So I just took the Megazord out because it was taking up space, and I future-proofed the shelf, made the space for the Ninjetti figures, and that's where we are with that. So yeah, I can't wait for this shelf to actually like be fully complete with the Ninjetti figures. I also added the VHS just as a little backdrop. I thought it was cool. Then moving over to my Red Ranger shelf, pretty much nothing has changed, but I did add the Monopoly, the Red Ranger Monopoly. I think it's the 20th or 25th anniversary of Power Rangers, but I added the Monopoly set. It's just a little backdrop because the shelf was looking pretty plain otherwise. But yeah, it's my Forever Red shelf with all of the different Red Rangers in my collection. So very cool stuff right there. I'm a big fan of this shelf. And you know, the Red Ranger is not my favorite Ranger. It depends what series we're talking about, but I just really love the Forever Red episode, and that's why I wanted to make a shelf dedicated to it. So yeah, the Red Ranger actually isn't my favorite Ranger. Anyways, moving down, I have my villain shelf. So this is just all of the Lightning Collection villains that I didn't have space for anywhere else, so I just put them all on this shelf. But a ton of great figures. I'm loving all of the villains that we're getting, and I cannot wait to get more. I love what Hasbro's doing with the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. I just wish it came at a time before I started buying like all the Bandai figures from back in the day. I just hate to keep buying all the figures all over again, so I kind of pick and choose like what figures I actually do pick up from the Lightning Collection. But so far with everything I picked up, and I pretty much pick up all the villains, I've been really impressed with it. And then coming down here, these are basically like my other Rangers. Rangers that obviously were not Red Rangers or were not Mighty Morphin. They just kind of went over here. Most of them are Bandai, but there are a few Lightning Collection figures in here as well as these new Megazords that we have, if I can get the light in there. So some of the new Megazords, like I said, some are Bandai, some are Hasbro, but still, this shelf is okay. It's pretty much just a placeholder for now till I figure out what I'm actually doing like with my Power Rangers display. And then coming down here, this is like my 6 Ranger shelf. Again, just figures, a mix of Bandai and Hasbro, but just figures that I didn't really have a place for. Just gonna move the light over here. Figures I didn't really have a place for that I just kind of put on display here for the time being till I figure out what exactly I'm doing with this whole setup over here. Now moving over here, we have my Megazords. So we have Titanus. These are all Legacy Collection. Titanus, and then the different versions of the Season 3 Megazords. And then we have my black and gold Megazords over here, which are kind of hard to see, but we'll bring the light in. There you go. So you can see I have the Legacy version as well as the original 93 or 94 version in the background. And then the Dragon Zord from the Legacy collection. And this little Alpha statue right here in black and gold. And then we have my Red Ranger Legacy helmet. And some Funko Pops over here. And my Pixar basketball inside of a basketball hoop trash can. So that does it for this whole side over here, this whole back wall. Those are all the figures that I have on display. And that's only 1/4 of the room, 1/4 of the room. We still got a ways to go. And that's going to lead us naturally from this wall back here over to this side over here. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so moving on to this wall, I have my Pinocchio poster. I have this for no other reason other than I found it at the thrift store and it was pretty cool. But Pinocchio is nowhere near even my favorite Disney movie. But I really like the poster. It came in this really cool red frame and I got it for cheap. So that's why that's there. Moving over this way, I'll save that Slinky for when we come across the top over here, but I have all of these cars right here. So these are die-cast cars from the movie Cars. So these are primarily the drive-in Cinepark scene from the after credits scene in Cars 1, I believe it was from. I have those, and then I'm a really big Fiat fan, so I have different versions of the Fiats right here, and I obviously have this empty space right here because I'm waiting to find another version of Luigi or Fiat that I can just put in this spot. So right now it's empty and the space is bugging me, but we will have something here soon enough, don't you worry. But yeah, just different cars right over here. And then coming down over here, I actually just recently did this display like a couple days before making this video, but I have all these little cheap like $20 Walmart arcades that fit perfectly on this little shelf right here. Unfortunately, Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, the batteries have died on them, so they don't work at the moment. But yeah, I just have these little arcades on display, as well as these light bars that at nighttime it looks really cool the way the light reflects off of the blinds right here, and it kind of just, it gives it a really cool thing. I'll put in a clip right now of how that looks, but yeah, it's a really cool effect that makes. And then coming over here, we have this little display I have of different video game consoles and whatnot, as well as my Xbox One mini fridge. If I can open it, there we go. So I don't have it like turned on right now, like the actual fridge function, but I do have the LEDs running, which look nice, of course. We have my Samsung GX gaming monitor with the built-in speakers. This is still one of the coolest TVs ever made. I did a video on this. It's just awesome. If you can ever track one down, definitely do. It's such a great gaming monitor, especially for retro gaming. But I have that TV, that CRT right there. And then I have my Oculus Quest sitting over here. Some GameCubes over there. PS1 and PS1, Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, a bunch of different handhelds. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Get the light to flash down there. But yeah, just a bunch of different handhelds. Xbox 360, Sega Genesis, Atari 2600, another couple Xbox 360s down there. And then that brings us to obviously our arcade one-ups. So I have the Marvel Superheroes cabinet, the original Street Fighter 2 edition of the cabinet, which was actually sent to me by Arcade One-Up, which I'm forever grateful for, and Final Fight. So really cool stuff right there. These really don't get as much play currently as they should. I definitely need to get back into that. Then moving back over this way, I have that World's Tiniest Slinky that I mentioned before, as well as my Toy Story / Pixar shelf up here, with just a bunch of different Toy Story and Pixar stuff, mainly all Toy Story, but yeah, just really cool stuff. I really love this shelf. Obviously, Toy Story is one of my favorite movies of all time, if you guys couldn't tell by my channel logo and whatnot. And Pixar's movies are just some of my favorite movies of all time, but definitely the original Toy Story is like in my top 5 movies of all time. So yeah, just a really cool Pixar shelf, Toy Story shelf over there. And then on this arcade, I have a bunch of Game Boy games, pretty much all the Game Boy games in my collection, mainly all Pokemon. Like I think this whole stack is Pokemon, and over here I have some Pokemon games, but yeah, and then modded joysticks and buttons on my arcades. Then we have my JBL Pulse 3 Bluetooth speaker, which is still one of the coolest Bluetooth speakers ever made. And then that's going to bring us over here to my NECA scalers. I finally dug these up out of the closet and put these on display. I have a ton of them. They go all the way down there, but I just put them on the little drawstring for the windows or the blinds. And then over here we have these Hot Wheels Gran Turismo cars that I've had for the longest, which are still some of my favorite cars in my collection. Really cool packaging, nostalgic with that Gran Turismo logo on there. I'm actually going to bring the light around to give us a better look over here, so give me 1 second. All right, that's better. Brighten this up a lot more. So coming over here, this is my video game collection, or at least a majority of it, and it goes everywhere from NES all the way to current gen consoles. So we'll start with some of the toys and stuff we have on display with my World of Nintendo stuff right here, all boxed, looking very nice. The only 2 boxed Super Nintendo games that I own because I found them for cheap. Then more World of Nintendo figures. We got this replica Super Metroid Super Nintendo cartridge that was actually a case that held a t-shirt, and then Mario Odyssey poster, as well as this Kirby shopping bag from Target. So it's got Kirby on this side, the other side it has the Target logo. It was a promotion for the new Kirby video game that just came out recently. And I have a bunch of these 8-bit World of Nintendo figures up here, and then Mega Man, and then just other little random figures and knickknacks. So I got like this Diddy Kong figure above Donkey Kong 64, and this little championship trophy above Mario Kart 64, and just other random stuff like this R-Wing and these Sonic figures as well, and these Happy Meal toys, these Mario Happy Meal toys, and this LED little glowing football. It comes out red in person. On camera it's looking orange, but it's actually just red. And then yeah, these are just the rest of my video games. So I'll just do a quick pan to show you guys. I have basically, the way I collect games is whatever like I can find or come across in thrift stores or just, you know, out in the wild. That's pretty much what I pick up. A majority of these older games are from my childhood, and some of them are all thrifted, so it's just a mix of stuff. So I don't have like a ton of heavy hitters, and I do have a lot of sports games, not really as filler, but just because I actually like enjoy sports games, particularly NBA games, because I am a basketball fan, and I love just collecting all the different NBA games from over the years to just go back to that time period and seeing how much, you know, they've evolved or how they differ from the games today, obviously. But yeah, I have a ton of the NBA Lives, and that was my childhood. NBA Live 03 is my favorite video game, or my favorite like NBA Live video game of all time, and the soundtrack for that game is absolutely amazing. And I think I own every single version of NBA Live 03 if I'm not mistaken. I know I have every single version of NBA Live 06 because it has Dwayne Wade on the cover. I literally have like every console it came out for, including PC. Yeah, and I found them all at thrift stores, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, here we are. That's the entire video game collection. Like I said, just doing a quick pan through it. And then that's going to do it for this side of the room. This was a lot quicker to get through. One, because it's a smaller room and I don't have a million figures to show you guys. So yeah, that's it for this side of the room. So now, before we move over to this back wall, we're actually going to focus here on the middle section. All right, and here we are in the middle section. So I have these 2 cheap recliners that I got off of Amazon. They were like, I forget what they were. What was it, 150 bucks for the pair, or 300 bucks I think for the pair, 150 each I believe is what it was, and they are still holding up. And I sit in this one particularly every single day. They still hold up just fine. None of the like fake leather is tearing or anything like that. I did kind of damage the armrest a little bit. Like there was one time I put too much pressure and I can hear the wood inside kind of cracking. Even right here I can feel the wood kind of cracked on the inside, but it's not uncomfortable. I still use it, and then I have a little dent right here in the wood as well. I don't know if that really comes out on camera or not, but other than that, it's perfectly fine. So these were such a steal. They're still holding up well over a year later. And then I have the Magic Carpet, Aladdin Magic Carpet rug right here. So this thing is really cool. I love this. This was a great Target find. I'm glad I picked it up because you can no longer find it anywhere anymore. So really big fan of that. Then I just have this coffee table with my glass edition of Monopoly. This really cool, like elegant Monopoly set. It just makes a great centerpiece on the table that would otherwise be plain without it. So I love that glass see-through Monopoly right there. And I have the essential remotes that I use. This controls my OLED over here, which we'll get to in a second. This controls the ceiling fan, and this controls my surround sound system that is right over there. And then underneath the coffee table, I just have a bunch of random stuff. Like I have coasters over here. I have this God of War chest that holds other additional remotes. And then I just have other random reading material like Toys R Us ads from the early 2000s, Ready Player One, because I really love the movie. Other like basketball books and strategy guides on this side. as well as the other side of the coffee table. I have even more. It's a lot to go through. I have LED remotes, but yeah, just a ton of reading magazines from Game Informers and whatnot all over there. So moving over this way here. Actually, we'll start over here. We'll get to the command center in a second. But yeah, over here we have my Kobe Bryant jersey. So obviously, you know, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. I hung the jersey up that I owned once he unfortunately passed away, and it's going to be hung up in my room forever. He was by no means my favorite player of all time. Dwayne Wade and Michael Jordan are my favorite players of all time, but I still really love Kobe Bryant, and it's one of the only 2 deaths of a celebrity that actually like hit me pretty hard. The other was Paul Walker. Yeah, Kobe will always be honored in my room. And I also have the Kobe Bryant Mamba Forever edition of the body armor. It's empty because I drank it already, but I am going to forever keep this bottle on display. I think it's just really cool by Under Armour with their body armor, what they did. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the permanent location of the body armor. I just put it here in front of the jersey for the time being. Then moving over this way, we have my VHS collection, as well as just some other random things that I forgot to clean up, like this Universal cup over here. But yeah, just my VHS collection. There's nothing like VHSs, man. Just having that collection, having the artwork on these giant spines is just so nostalgic and so iconic. And I will forever keep collecting VHSs, even if I don't like the movie or whatever. If it's a VHS that I do not have, I do want to add it to the collection, because again, there's just nothing like that 90s artwork, man. There's just something about the spine of these VHSs that are so great to have on display versus these tiny spines that you can't even really tell what it is or make out. But these, classic. Anyways, moving on over this way, we have, we'll start back here. So we have my NBA Headliners random Dikembe Mutombo figure that I found just randomly at a thrift store, I think, and this Fresh Prince air freshener that came with a t-shirt that I bought. And then we have all of my, I call this like my celebrities slash athletes Funko Pop shelf. So it's a ton of Michael Jordan pops, but just other sports icons or just pop culture icons are up here as well, as we kind of go through this and take a look. So it's all like basketball and sports, as well as like, you know, boxing, Mighty Ducks, Hulk Hogan, you know, Jeff Gordon. And then that leads into my Biggie Funko Pops. Biggie is my favorite rapper of all time. So you have all of the Funko Pops. I think I'm pretty much up to date at the moment, and I'm just trying to get through here without knocking anything over. And then of course you can't have Biggie without Tupac, and had to have Aaliyah over there, and obviously Mariah Carey, and then Jam Master Jay from Run DMC, and the Moon Man from MTV. And I just put this up here as a placeholder for the time being, so it wasn't empty, but it's his McDonald's 40th anniversary Happy Meal box. And that is it for that. And then as we come over to this section, this is my Pokemon Funko Pop section. So can't wait to have all 151 original Pokemon on display. But for now, these are all of the ones that we have. And then we have my NFL Street promotional football, which I did a whole video and dedication to. NFL Street 2 is one of my favorite video games of all time, so really happy to have this in my collection. And then this is still a random assortment. Let me just get over here without falling, and I'll move the light out of the way. Put it right about there, sure. So like I said, I'm a big Fiat fan, so for now, until I have this space filled out with Pokemon stuff, this is all just kind of random. So I have my R2-D2 remote control droid over here, as well as all of my other Fiats. So I have like a remote control version of the Abarth, and then just other random Fiat die casts over here, as well as the Lego version of the Fiat, Hot Wheels ID Fiat, all these other Fiats, and then of course Hot Wheels. And then my NBA 2K20 Dwayne Wade edition pre-order poster from GameStop. Love this thing. The colors on here are amazing. Obviously, like I said, Dwayne Wade's my favorite player of all time, and this was the year that he was retiring, I believe. So just having this poster, having this Legacy edition on display, and it just looks really good with the dark accents of the wall. I really do like that. Then coming over here, we have more VHSs. These are the slip covers and not the actual clamshells, but still iconic nonetheless. And I just have a bunch of other random 90s nostalgic stuff up here, like this Furby Happy Meal toy, this Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal SH Figuarts, Tiger Electronics X-Men, this Bluetooth speaker that doubles as a screen that is not charged at the moment, so I couldn't turn it on, but this thing is really cool. I got this Pac-Man Tamagotchi over here, this Bud Light. I don't drink, by the way, but I got this from my brother who had this beer. But this really cool like 90s throwback bottle right here. And then just to go with the whole like theme of the blues and the pinks and the 90s throwback, I have this Tyler Hero cereal box over here. So we have that. And coming over this way, we have my brand new Pokemon shelf that I created. So this right half of the shelf with all these Sony characters was here already. So nothing is new over here, but I did create, to go with the flow of the 90s aesthetic, I went with this Pokemon shelf over here because I dug out all these Pokemon toys that I had sitting in my closet. And yeah, just put them on display, a bunch of 90s Pokemon toys, as well as that Pokeball over there, and then these Happy Meal toys, these coasters, and then I have this like stationery set with like pencils and notebooks and stuff that I found at the thrift store for like $1, which is pretty cool. And then this oversized Pokemon Pikachu card. So yeah, really big fan of this shelf. Obviously, Pokemon's a big part of pretty much all of our childhoods at this point. So I figured why not. Then coming over here, we have my Lego NES, which is a little dusty at the moment, but we have that, as well as the Sonic Mania Collector's Edition statue, as well as some Sonic action figures, and this Sega Genesis controller, 6-button controller for the classic Sega Genesis over there. And then down here we have this random little type CRT that I think is really cool. This Shaq Fu Arizona iced tea type of thing. Furby over there. What is this cable? Oh, I know what that cable is. We'll get to that in a second. Crystal Pepsi, and then this promotional. This is probably the rarest piece of my collection and the most expensive piece of my collection, if I'm not mistaken. I think this cardboard box, just this box alone, is worth, I think, a couple $1,000 or maybe a couple hundred. I can't remember, but it was a promotional Toys R Us item. This box is incredibly rare, and you're not gonna find a lot of people that have that in their collection. And then I have this Guitar Hero guitar down here because occasionally I just like to play Guitar Hero, so I just leave the guitar right over there. And speaking of playing video games, let's get over here to the command center. I'm actually gonna come back over here to give you guys a better view of it, but here it is in all of its glory. So this is my Sony 55-inch A8H, I believe, A8H. It's a weird name, but it's my Sony Bravia OLED TV, 55-inch, incredible TV. The most expensive TV I've ever owned, but that OLED technology is just beautiful. The camera does not do it any justice. But I call this section here the command center, and it's basically where I have all my main consoles all hooked up and ready to go at a moment's notice. All I have to do is turn them on and can play them. So obviously I mentioned the Sony TV, and then I have this Vizio surround sound system with the sound bar, a couple speakers, and a subwoofer over there. Then I have the PlayStation Classic, the Sega Genesis Classic, and the NES and Super Nintendo Classic. Those are all modded and ready to go, and they're all loaded with just games. Just every game you can think of, they're all loaded with it. And then I have obviously the PS5 over there, a couple controllers over here, original NES, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Wii Mini, OG Xbox, PS2, PS3, PS4 Pro, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One, and this is the Day 1 edition, and the Xbox One X over there. Like I mentioned, all hooked up and ready to go at a moment's notice. All I have to do is turn them on. You can see that mess of wires back there. They're all wired to the TV, all on different splitters and stuff, and it's just the way to go. Obviously I have like LED accent lighting behind everything, which is just really adds to the mood. And then that is going to bring us over to this side of the room, the last and final portion of this room. All right, and here we are, the last and final portion of this room. This is my controller display. So I got this new display from IKEA and just set up a bunch of different console controllers up here. Just random, however they like. I picked the best way that the controllers can fit. These are obviously not all the controllers in my collection, but just a random assortment of controllers up there. Over here we have my Space Jam Funko Pop collection from the new movie, as well as the original line of Space Jam figures. They need to continue this. Why we haven't got a Michael Jordan version of Space Jam, I have no idea. Or a Space Jam version of Michael Jordan. I said that backwards, but why we have all these Michael Jordan pops over there and not a Space Jam edition is beyond me. Why we didn't get the rest of the Monstars, I have no idea. Anyways, this is my movie collection over here. I still like collecting movies physically, especially if it's ones that I like. So even though like Raya and the Last Dragon was on Disney Plus, I picked up the Blu-ray because I enjoyed the movie so much. Same with Luca, which I'm trying to find it. They're in alphabetical order. Where's Luca? Luca over here. Obviously it's still sealed, but I love this movie so much that I picked up the physical version, and I just love that cover. That cover is so cool. So yeah, I still like collecting physical media. I don't go out of my way to pick up movies that much, but if I really enjoy the movie, I definitely pick it up. So I'll just do a quick pan. Keep in mind some stuff like my Avatar movies are over there. Some stuff are on shelf, so this is not like everything, but it's a good majority of it. So like I said, just a quick pan through here. It's a random assortment of movies. Some of these movies are Christina's, they're not mine, but I think a majority of these are mine. And you know, I just also pick up random stuff that I find at the thrift store that I can find at a good deal as well. So yeah, still like collecting physical media, as you guys can tell, right over there. And then that leads me to my Hot Wheels collection. And again, this is something I'm going to have to do a quick pan through because I have so many Hot Wheels. And then I just have other stuff that's on display, like these really cool, these I found at the thrift store, and these were handed out to Oscar, like the judges of the Oscars. And this basically was like what they would use to send to watch. I don't even know. All I know is it's really cool. Like, I don't know how to explain what it is, but you can see it says for your consideration. Come on, there we go. And this was like sent out to the judges of the Oscars, and you can see like some of the accolades that the show has, and you even have you have like screenshots and everything in there, and then you have the disc in here with like a preview of the show, maybe has like a couple episodes on there. But yeah, this was really cool. I found a bunch of these at the thrift store, and I thought they were amazing. Like, who else do you know is going to have those in their collection? So I have Luke Cage, Gilmore Girls, Chelsea, and just like a bunch of other random ones, and even some ones down there. But yeah, that is my Hot Wheels collection, and I just use those as a really cool like little background type of thing. So just a quick pan through my Hot Wheels collection. Ton of Hot Wheels. The only organization I have to this is by color, so I did it as the colors of the rainbow. Other than that, there's no like rhyme or reason. Just I put the same color cars with the same colors, and that is pretty much the way that I organize my Hot Wheels. So a ton of stuff. And then that brings me to like all these random CDs that I have. So like albums and games that didn't fit. I have all these games over here that I ran out of space over here, so whatever didn't fit over here made its way to over here. So just like PSP games, a couple of Switch games, and a ton of Xbox games because I ran out of space. And then PC games, and then other like just deluxe collector's editions that were too big to fit over there. You can see all that right over there. So a lot of stuff going on the shelf. We have movies, video games, Hot Wheels, ton of stuff over here. Now that's going to bring us over this way. So I've kept quiet about it so far in this video, but we're going to go ahead and take a closer look. We're just going to move the light over here, and that is the latest addition to the room. The brand new, or not brand new, this has been out for a while, it's brand new to me, the Pac-Man Arcade 1-Up. I picked this up at Walmart the other day on clearance for 150 bucks. Literally just assembled it yesterday. I don't really have space for it, to be honest with you guys. Like, this is pretty much my Arcade 1-Up section over here. I didn't really have space for another one, but I figured, you know, at 150 bucks, I'm not going to pass that up. And that artwork on the side is just iconic and incredible. And I put it here temporarily for this video, but I think I'm going to keep it there. Obviously the wires are exposed because I'm using this light over here, but I think I'm going to keep it there. It's really the only spot that makes sense, and it still leaves enough walking room where I can get by over here, come to the chair, or just come over here. I didn't have anything on this wall before. It was literally just an outlet that had this extension cord on it, and these couple of posters. There's like one more poster behind here, but other than that, I didn't have anything on this wall. So I think this is actually a good spot for it. I really do need to get a riser. As you can see, I have the risers over here, so these things sit up really nicely at just the perfect height. It comes up right to like right where is the ideal playing position, where this one is very low to the floor. As you can see, like, it is nowhere near the ideal playing position that I need. So yeah, definitely need to get a riser, but I think I'm gonna keep it here. It works. And the thing, if I like put it next to these guys, is that these guys are all the same shape because these are early versions of Arcade 1-Up. These are all the same exact shape. but this one is unique. It's got a slightly different shape and everything like that, so it would look weird next to these guys. So I like having it over here, and that art, the way that artwork just pops and everything, it will look much better than putting one of these over there. So yeah, I think that's where that's gonna go. But anyways, big rant. I'll have a video up on the Pac-Man cabinet sometime this week. Hopefully I'll do a more in-depth video on that. But that's going to bring us up here to this pop shelf, which I have to move the light back over here to do so. Okay, there we go. So I have this pop shelf over here, and this is a bunch of like superhero pops essentially. So we have all these Marvel pops over here, and then that leads into Star Wars, and Star Wars just leads into a bunch of other randomness. We can see this brand new 2-pack I got over here from Star Wars Visions. I just put that up there the other day. But yeah, just a bunch of random pops all throughout here. Proud Family, SpongeBob. So got all of those right there. And then this random Bruce Lee that is not a pop, but he was doing the same pose as this thing pop, so I just put him there because that's pretty much it. And then that goes over this way to my Hot Wheels that I keep on card. So these are all premium versions Hot Wheels, and it looked really good on this wall because I didn't really have much space to work with on this wall, like outside of the closet doors. I just had this little column, and it was just perfect enough to actually house. I had like just the right amount of premium Hot Wheels cars to fit this up, so that worked perfectly. And now we're gonna get to a really big change in this room, and that is going to be this closet. Now, I showed it off in my last video, and I'm going to show it off again here. So it looks a million times better. I threw a bunch of stuff in here just to film this video. This stuff isn't going to be here. I need to put that stuff in storage, all that stuff on the floor. So it is going to look a bit nicer, but just to do this video, I wanted to just throw everything in there. But yes, so I got a brand new bookshelf that houses all of my board games and a bunch of other stuff at the moment. Like I said, all that will be gone, but yeah, I have board game storage in here. So when my friends come over, we flip these chairs around, we bring more chairs in the room, we put a big table in the center of the room, and then we just go in the closet and grab board games, and we have game night, and I'm really, really excited about that. Before I had the amount of figures that I have now, I had a whole shelf dedicated to board games. But obviously, as the year went on and more figures came in and I unboxed more stuff that was in storage, I needed more bookshelf space out here to display all these figures. So for now, board games moved to in here, and I didn't really need them on display like they were before. They were just kind of there because they could be, but now they're in here. And then this is all just like storage of video game controllers and cables, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. I actually need to like reorganize this a little bit, but yeah, everything in here is video game cables, storage, power bricks, everything you need for, you know, all of these consoles and all of these consoles over here. They are all in here. So that's that. And then this stack over here is stuff that I need to review in the future. I've been trying so hard to get this room tour out, so I want to review these guys as soon as possible. Now that we're getting the room tour out, that will be possible, so stay tuned for that. And then it's just a bunch of other stuff in here. It's basically just storage, empty boxes and LEDs and just a whole bunch of stuff. Like there's a ton of just boxes and stuff in here. So essentially this closet is, you know, one half for board games, one half for organization, and storage essentially is everything else. So that is pretty much it. That is everything, I believe. I'm sure there's something I missed, but I think that's everything for this room tour. So let's go ahead and do this outro. Catch you guys in a second. All right, you guys, so that is going to do it. This was a very exhausting video to make. I don't know if you guys can even tell, my voice is spent. I just spent the last hour going through every single thing in this room. There is a lot of stuff to go through, but we finally did it. It's been a long month. If you guys have been following the series, I have been organizing and rearranging this room like there is no tomorrow, spending hours upon hours just creating new displays, moving things around, just so much to get it to where the point where it is right now, and I'm really happy with it. So when we created this version of the room a year ago, a little over a year ago, I thought that was like the greatest thing in the world, the way it looked, and now it's even better. We got so many more figures, not as much empty space, just the way that I utilize the space now compared to how I did a year ago, everything just looks so much better. I am very happy, and now I'm ready to finally just sit back
and enjoy this room. Like, I've been spending so much time in here working and organizing. I'm ready to just get in here, relax, and just chill. Like, to play these arcades that I haven't played in so long, to play my Oculus VR headset that I haven't played in so long, to play with this brand new Pac-Man arcade cabinet, or to just play some video games. Honestly, all I've been doing is organizing this room and playing through the GTA trilogy and then GTA 4, because I figured you can't beat the trilogy and then not play the other ones. So literally the only video game I've been playing is GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. I just beat 4 and I'm about to replay 5 because I bought the remastered edition on the PS5. So I literally have not played any video games other than the GTA series since January, I think. So I'm ready to finish that and then just get back into relaxing and gaming. It's been a lot of work between just like regular work and then just like my actual day job, and then working in here and still trying to keep up with the videos. So I'm ready to exhale. I'm so glad we got this room tour done. Okay, my camera died as I was doing that outro, but as I was saying, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It would really mean a lot if you guys smash that like button, because I put so much work into this room and to making this video. Just if you guys can like the video, leave a comment. If you even made it this far in the video, thank you. You guys don't know how much that means, and I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. And yeah, so I'm ready to get this video done and to go do some gaming, because I need to just enjoy the ambiance of this room, man. I put a lot of work into it and now I'm ready to enjoy it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think I said that already. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. So as always, guys, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.